Good morning guys, it's Sensei Matt. I'm hoping that you're all nice and safe. It's a bit weird at the moment, lockdown, so I thought I'd bring you some stuff to train at home. Today we're going to work on punching. So when you're stuck indoors, it's a great chance to improve yourself in a way that you would never do when you've got school or work or whatever. So today what we're going to do is we're going to focus on loads and loads of things on how to do straight punches the best possible. A punch is really your first best weapon. That means it's not the most powerful thing you've got, but it's the quickest thing to use and it's the thing you're most likely to use. But before we do that, why don't we just do some exercises, or just touching my face there, but I've just washed my hands, so that's fine. So before we do that, why don't we just start with some nice light exercises just to warm us up. So let's start from the ground upwards. So we'll just take our feet and we'll rotate our feet around. Now point our toes back and forwards. Oops, bit of a wobble there, need to bend my other leg to help me keep my balance. Looking at the camera now to help me keep my balance. Guard up. Good, now my leg, my knee. Back and forwards, back and forwards. Good, now my hip. Now my other leg. Foot in a circle. Back and forwards. Knee. Hip. Just turning my supporting leg slightly to help me keep my balance. Okay, now I'm just going to relax forwards and try and reach my toes. Keeping my knees quite straight. Don't have to do it all in one go. Good, hands on hips. Wiggle around. Big circles. Now the other way. Get those backs nice and loose. Now reach forwards. Stretch out, try and keep your backs quite straight. Good. Okay, now, because we're going to be doing a lot of punching today, we're going to warm our shoulders up a lot. I'm going to move forwards, I'm going to chop my head off because I wanted you to be able to see some stuff later. So I'm going to be the headless sensei for today. Arms in a big circle forwards. Now backwards. Now one forwards, the other one backwards, cross at the top, then the other way. If Ben was here, or Harry, they'd always be teaching you if you can't do that, start off with your hands in the front, do a big circle, big circles, and just get bigger and bigger until one hand's going forwards, one's going backwards. Okay, pull your arm across. Really far. And the other arm. We want to loosen our shoulders up a lot today. Good, elbows today. Don't usually do this if we're not going to be punching so much, but just get us nice and loose. Wrists. Back the other way. Grab your wrists, your fingers like that, see, pulling them back. Turn your hand over, push your hand out, pull your fingers back. There you go, now the other side. and turn. Okay, and last but not least, heads forwards and backwards. Looking side to side. I can't remember who it was, but my first teacher, it might have been my first judo teacher, Russell Strode, or my first karate teacher, Mick Christmas. That would have been about 40 or 50 years ago, and they said that you should never loosen your neck up in a circle because it can wear away the bones in your neck. Your bones are kind of like square blocks, and when you go them in a circle, it can erode the corners. So I always just go side to side and up and down, and then that way it preserves your neck. Okay, let's do a few quick exercises now. So we'll start off with press ups. So we're going to lay flat on the floor, then we're going to push straight up. We're going to do 20 press ups. Okay, if you can't do press ups normally, just do them on your knees. So I'll show you what I mean. So here's a normal press up. Pulling my tummy to keep my back straight. I don't want to stick my bottom out. Don't want to collapse like that. I've got to bend my arms, keep my back nice and straight here. Okay? Now if you can't do that because your arms are not strong enough, just go on your knees and put your hands down like this. Hopefully you can still see me, yeah? Go on your knees and then lower like that. And then gradually move your knees back so that you're having to take more of your weight, and that way it'll build up your strength. Alternately, you could just lay flat on the floor like this, put your hands up by your shoulders, and then just push, lift, hold, and down. And just do that 3 times, okay? For everybody else, what I want you to do today is, if you are less than an orange belt, or you've not been training very long, we're going to try and do 10 press-ups. Orange belts and green belts can try and do 20. Everybody else can try and do 30, okay? So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Okay, now we're going to do sit-ups. Sit-ups are fantastically good for your core. Press-ups, by the way, really good for your shoulder strength, good for grappling, good for overall fitness. Sit-ups, very, very good for your core. Now, there's lots of ways you can do sit-ups. Technically, some of them are crunches, but we'll start off with a traditional sit-up. So we just put our feet on the floor, hands behind our head, and then we pull. But I don't know if you can see my feet, but my feet come off the floor. I don't like those, I think they're bad for your lower back. But if you can get your mum or dad or somebody else to hold your ankles, then that's pretty good. Or you can tuck your feet underneath the edge of a bed or a chair, or even here underneath this radiator. Look, here. Now it's much easier. Now, I like to use a sit-up bench because it gives me a little bit more effort. So, sit up with me. You don't have to keep up with me. But again, beginners, 10. Orange and green belts, 20. Anybody higher than that, let's go for 30. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Now, one thing before I go, keep your hands by your neck. Don't pull your head. Don't throw your hands up. This is a bad sit-up. So I'm using my hands to get my body up. Just keep your hands loosely touching your neck the whole time and pull with your tummy. Okay? Right. Let's put this away for now. Okay. Now, this is my worst exercise. We're going to do some squat thrusts. Squat thrusts are good for your tummy and your shoulders. So I always do them at the end when I'm already tired, because then it's more of a challenge for me. Same as before, 10, 20 or 30 according to what grade you are or how experienced you are. So I'm going to stand here in a kind of a bums up plank or press up position. Then I'm going to jump my knees up, and then I'm going to shoot them back out, both feet together. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Whew. Okay guys, sorry about that break. I wanted to adjust the camera and also check that it was recording properly. So now we're going to move on to punching, but before we do punching, I think we should learn how to do palm heels, okay? So palm heels, use this bit of your hand, not the fingers, the base of your palm, and when you first learn to defend yourself, if you punch with your knuckles really hard, especially if you hit somebody in the head where it's bony knuckles, bony head, very likely to break your knuckles. So there's no point breaking your hand on the very first punch and then you're out of the fight, okay? It might be that you could defend yourself against somebody, even somebody bigger, if you use the right weapon, and a palm heel is almost as good as a punch if you do it in the right place. So what we're going to do is pull our fingers back like this, and then we're just going to hit out like that. We're going to hit the target here. Maybe I might go sideways depending where the target is. So when we do a palm heel, we're going to start from our guard. We're going to go straight out, straight out. So let's just do 50 like that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 27, 28, 29, 30. Make sure you get your fingers back. 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. See, I'm getting a bit of a snap at the end, like a lock there. So there's where the power comes in. I come out loose, come out loose, come out loose, and then tense my muscles at the end to make it strong. So loose, 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 tense. So here we go, let's do 20 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. See, I'm slightly turning my hips, see my belt is going. That's adding my body weight behind it, my muscles of my body. See if you can turn your hips a bit as well. Last 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good, okay. Now punches. So punches are a better weapon in some ways because they focus all of your power into just the front of your front two knuckles here. Just here, okay? So when we punch, I don't want to see any, can I see that here? I don't want to see back two knuckles. That's how Chinese martial arts does it, but that's not how we do it, okay? In my opinion, the back two knuckles are weaker than the front two because they don't have the whole arm behind. So here, these two knuckles, the bones go here and then line up there. So I have to slightly turn my wrist out like that. So find a wall, put your knuckles against the wall like that. Just the front two, and then lean. Just feel those first two knuckles on the wall. If you're feeling good with that, you can do press-ups. I'm not going to do it now, I've adjusted the camera. Okay, so here, with a punch, comes out, kind of sideways, turns at the end. See, my hips are turned as well. At the moment, my feet are side by side, okay? That lets me punch both sides equally. Later on, we'll talk about a fighting stance where I can get more power with my backhand. But for now, feet side by side. So we're going to go 1, turn, 2, turn, 3, turn, 4, turn. They cross in the middle. 5, turn, 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 turn. Okay, so another important thing, my elbow doesn't come out when I punch. It stays facing downwards. That means it's the shortest distance and the most power behind it for a straight punch. Hook punch is much more powerful, but they're slower and they leave you a bit open. So for now, we'll just concentrate on straight punches. So here we go. 40 then, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, so they were straight punches. I left my hand out there and then changed on the way back. Now we're going to do snaps, which come back like that. So they go out fast, snap back. Okay, let's do 20 like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, so now let's move on. So let's think for a moment on how to make a proper fist, because some of you probably still not getting that quite right. So what we're going to do, we're going to roll our fingers from the first joint to the second all the way down, and we're going to push our nails into our palms. Then we're going to put our thumbs across on the outside. Now, here's a common mistake people make. They either have their thumbs here, so imagine if I was punching with my thumb there, I'm going to hit my thumb first, could break my thumb or hurt my thumb. Or when they're trying super hard, they put their thumb underneath their fingers like that, where they're trying so hard to make a tight fist. Just rest your thumb there, because otherwise if it's there and you punch, again can break your thumb, breaks here, it's called a scaphoid bone. Okay, so just want that on there so that your knuckles hit. Now, what we're aiming for, and you probably won't be able to do this because your hands are kind of chunky and you haven't been making a tight fist, but what we're aiming for is a nice flat surface here that makes it easy to hit with these knuckles first. For now, you'll probably find that your knuckles stick out a little bit, so when you hit, your knuckles are going to hit. That's why I suggest you don't do punching so much. But for now, really tight squeeze, but then relax. Relax your shoulders, relax your arms. Okay, so now what we're going to do, we're just going to talk about a 1-2 punch. So first of all, we're going to pull our guard up. So if we're in punching distance, that means we're going to have a close-up guard. If we were doing Muay Thai or kickboxing or MMA, we'd have our guard further out so that we can kick because they're far away. As soon as they come into punching distance, we want a guard up close that's going to protect our head. So we're going to stand one leg back a little bit and turn our hips off. So now that means that this arm is going to protect the front of our body and our ribs. This is going to be hard for them to get because this arm can cover easily, and the backhand is ready here. Okay, so now we're just going to do a couple of punches here. Just keep our guards up, close to our head. Careful that we don't go like this, drop this hand in between punches. That's really common, and then people lift it up afterwards, okay? So let's just do a 1-2 punch. So here we go. We're going to go front hand, and now on the backhand, we're going to lift our heel off the floor. You probably can't see my foot there, but my heel is coming off the floor. My foot's facing forwards, my back foot. Okay, so before I go any further, let's just talk about 2 types of punches. The front hand, see my leg is in the front on this side. The front hand and the back hand. So the front hand, can you remember what the front hand punch is called? There's 2 possible names. If I just start out straight, it's called a straight. And if I throw it out and pull it back, starts with J, it's a jab. Okay, so a jab is fast and snappy, a straight is more direct and powerful. Okay, and then with a backhand, In karate we used to call this a reverse punch or gyakuzuki, but in boxing they call it, sounds like something you might do in football. Can you remember? A cross, okay? So, see when I throw my front hand, I can use my body a little bit, but it's not super powerful, but it is closer, look, see? Closer to the other person's head. This hand's back here, this hand, bang, I can catch them by surprise quicker. So this is my attention getter, or my cheeky shot. This is my powerful shot. See how I can turn my whole body in here? So, we're going to do a 1-2, we're going to use our straight, and then we're going to use our cross. Here we go, so 1, 2, turn your hips on the cross, really see how far you can turn your hips in. Don't go much further than this, because now your power's starting to go over that direction, but just to forward, so here, forwards. So, let's do 10 of those. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5, 1, 6, 1, 7. Now, you'll commonly find that when you do a cross, a lot of people, because we're turning, see the elbows starting to come out, so you have to be really careful here to make sure your elbow goes straight forwards. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, so now let's just think about our fighting stance. So this is comfortable with my feet side by side. This is a position you're most likely to be in if somebody starts a fight with you. You're just standing in a normal position, you might be talking, you might be just looking around. But as soon as something kicks off, you need to stand back into a stronger stance. So we're just going to step back into a gentle fighting stance. So remember, if somebody starts to attack you, if somebody looks aggressive or looks even like they might be about to attack you, we're going to move back and put our fence up. So let's talk about the fence now. So we just move back gently and put our hands up like this. My thumbs are at throat height, because if you put them at chest height, you'll see people often, yeah, what? And they'll push their chest forward, they'll puff their chest up and see it as a proving how brave they are. But if you put it at throat height, nobody's going to go onto your hands like that, are they? No, they're going to be a bit more careful. So we take a gentle step back so that they don't see we're aggressive. We're not going to be, I don't want to fight. We're going to be gentle. Okay, calm down. Okay, whatever it is, let's talk it out. There's no point having a fight. And my thumbs are at throat height. Okay, so that's my fence. I'm nice and strong. Maybe you could get your mum or your dad to come up to you and just practice your fence, and maybe even give you a little push. What we don't want to do is we don't want to go back one, then retreat, and keep on retreating, because that makes the other person feel braver. Okay, we just take one step. Now, if they step forwards and lift a hand like they're going to hit you, or they step forwards like they're going to have a go, we're going to drop a hand back. This is holding them away now. This is ready to hit. This is saying, okay, I tried to be calm, but now I mean business, okay? So why don't you practice that? So get somebody to come up to you and be aggressive. So, okay, I don't want to fight, but I will if I have to, okay? So now we're here. Now this is not a normal guard position. This is an intimidation position, okay? If it looks like it's, like it's actually kicked off, we're going to go to our guard here, and now we're going to fight from here. We might have an open hand guard, depending what you're going to do. Remember, you're probably not going to use kicks out on the street because you've got slippery shoes. Even now, I've got my bare feet on because it's hard to do twisty stuff. But if you're out on the street, unless you've got really good grip and it's nice and dry and you're not on slippery floor, you're not really going to be in bare feet, okay? So, it's going to be a bit risky to be doing kicks. Maybe low kicks, maybe low round kicks, okay? To the legs or the thighs, or to trip somebody up. If you're really, really confident at your kicks, you might be trying stomach kicks and groin kicks. That's fairly safe. Anything above that, you really want to be very careful, okay? So, our fighting stance. And so we came back to our fighting stance. So now we've got jab punch is a snappy punch, and a straight punch, we leave it out there, okay? But now let's talk about some ways that we can improve our punches. So, we've got the basic mechanics. We know that we want to hit with our front two knuckles. We know our elbow doesn't want to come out. But what other things could we improve about our punch? Okay, so the first thing we're going to think about is range. Okay, so range is very important. There's three ranges in punching. There's a light snap, there's too far away, and there's a deep penetrating punch. So a deep penetrating punch might be a punch to the body, bang, goes right into their body, and it really causes them a lot of discomfort, causes damage to their internal organs, okay? Too far away, obviously that's too far away. It means that here, punching too far away, I've missed, okay? But I could use that as a distraction, say with my 1-2 combination. Do a distraction, while their guard comes up for that, move off the line, punch them in the head. Or while they're distracted by that, kick them, okay? So too far away is not good if you want to hit them, but it has other purposes. And then the other one is a snappy punch. So a snappy punch, just really fast, cause pain like a sting, but it's not going to cause a lot of damage. Now, a lot of people who are really good punchers, their snappy punches are as dangerous as my powerful punches. But for now, so we've got snappy punch that's just going to hit, and that's what we're going to work on now. So here's what I suggest you do. If you've got curtains or you're training with somebody now, get them to hold up a piece of paper for you, and what we're going to do, we're just going to try and snap. So I'm hitting too hard there, just lightly, so it just touches a piece of paper, okay? So what I don't want the paper to go whoop, right back like that. I want the paper barely to move, where you've just got the range perfect for a snap punch, okay? So we're going to do 10 of those. I can't do it here because I haven't got curtains and there's nobody to hold the paper. But we're just going to do 10 snappy punches. What you'll find is it's a lot harder to judge the range with your backhand, because you've got to work out what your hips are doing and your whole body, okay? But you advanced students, I don't know if you can see my feet, but here, when we rotate on our hips, we don't want to pivot around the middle, we want to pivot around the front leg, so we're throwing our weight forwards. So it puts more power into your punches, especially for your cross as well, especially if your cross is up, only if your cross is here. So my weight goes forwards on that front leg. Okay, so we're just going to do 10 snappy punches from a fighting stance now. So hold a piece of paper up. You can practice more of these. You can stop the video right now if you want to practice more. They're quite fun. What I find is that initially you're going to have to do a few just to get the range. And then once you get the range, you'll be fairly good. But don't cheat and just do your fist. Do your whole body every time, because just using your fist is not going to be powerful enough in a real fight, okay? So we're just going to do 10 snappy punches. Out and back, 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 out and back. 5, 6, 7, don't make that paper move too much. 8, 9, 10. Now, for you advanced students or you students hoping to do really well, I'm just going to talk to you about something else which I must admit I'm really quite bad at, but would really help your punching if you could get this. When I throw my punch, see if I can get my elbow nice and clear so you can see it. When I throw my punch and my elbow down, it comes out in a straight line, then I turn it, and now here's the bit I'm really bad at, because I've got longer limbs it's harder, and also getting older and also just not very good at it, to be honest. But when it goes out, it should come back exactly the same route it went out. So here's what I'll often do. My hand goes out and it goes at the end before it comes back. And it just slows it down a little tiny bit. Now if I'm hitting something, obviously it doesn't do that because the goes into their head or their body. But just see if we can get our punches to come out, go back exactly the same way. One way to do that is to concentrate on your elbow on the return. So we use our tricep, that's the muscle here. We tense that throws our fist out, and then we pull from our elbow, that pulls our fist back, okay? So tense, pull, tense, pull. In fact, all of your muscles tense, there's no muscles that pull. We've got muscles that work in pairs. They're called agonistic and antagonistic. So I think, I'm not sure which is which, but your bicep and your tricep work together. One pulls to make your arm go back, or tenses to make your arm go backwards, and the other one tenses to make your arm go out. So they work in pairs. So here, we're going to go out, back. Now, nice and fast and snappy. Try and make sure it doesn't go do-do-do at the end. Get your mum or dad to watch you. So nice and straight, out like that. Nice and straight. Another thing for you to watch out for, you don't want to be blinking as you punch. A lot of people, at the end of their punches, they'll blink because they're kind of putting too much power in, and for that moment, they've lost sight of the opponent. So if your opponent, especially if it's a smaller opponent, if they move off as you punch and their response is to do an over punch or straight in return to your straight punch or your jab, if they go like this and you blink, you won't see their punch about to hit you in the face. So it's going to be hard enough as it is because it's hidden by your arm often. Right, so we're going to go out, we're not going to blink, we're not going to go like that either. We're just going to have a normal natural face and out, pull back on the elbow, out, back to your guard like that. Okay, so now here's another little game you can play with your mums or your dads or your brothers or sisters. So when you're punching, you don't want the opponent to see what you're going to do. So there's lots of ways that you might give away your intentions. For example, you might lower before you punch. Really common one is tense up the face or do something with the face like that. Okay, so we want to hide any signs. Now Daniel's very good at hiding his punches. Daniel Russell it is, sorry. See if you can be as good as Daniel. So what we're going to do, we're going to get one person to watch and we're going to say just 1 or 2 words. Lowered your weight, tensed your hands, pulled your fist back, blinked, scrunched your face up, opened your eyes really wide. There's lots of different things that you might do. So see if you can hide what you're going to do, okay? It's called telegraphing when you show people what you're going to do. So just see if you can do a snap, straight out, without doing anything else first, okay? Now, if you find that before you do a punch, you want to do that, that means you're probably standing too high in the first place. Okay, you're standing high because you're comfortable, but this is not your best fighting stance. Slightly down with your legs bent. If you feel that this is where you want to be strong, that's where you should be when you're doing your punches and when you're fighting anyway. Okay, so get in your good fighting stance, bend your legs, and now punch. Don't show what you're doing. Get a bit faster. Try and hide your intentions. Don't let your elbow come out. Pull it back nice and snappy. Snappy, I don't know why I said that one. Here, okay, good. Okay, so we talked about snap punches and straight punches. Now we're going to talk about power punches. So power punches, you can do a power punch with your front hand. You really want to turn your body off, but they're better off with your cross. Okay, so usually what will happen is somebody will do a 1, 2. They'll go 1, there's the distraction. 2, there's the power. Or 1, I'm closing distance. 2, there's the power. Power shot might be to the body, might be to the head. Okay, so I don't really recommend punching to the body while you're developing your wrist strength, because what happens is you punch the body and the wrist goes like that and then you break your wrist. Okay, so those of you who borrowed my punch pads, let me just show you here. Here's how you put them on, by the way. Some of them have got thumbs. There's a thumb on this side, so you put your hand in flat, spread your fingers out and do them like that. So if you're getting your mum or dad to hold them for you, you're not trying to knock them out, but for this we're going to do a little bit of power. We don't hold them straight like that, we turn them in slightly. Not too close to your face, you're not Mickey Mouse, and you don't want them to miss and hit you in the faces, okay? So we're just going to go there, they're going to stand back a little bit, like that, okay? And then you're just going to start off with your palm heels. You're going to go your right hand, your left hand to the left hand here, your right hand to the right hand here. So start with your closest hand, so that will be your straight or your jab, okay? Usually the left hand, but if you're left-footed or left-handed, you might want to stand that way around. I'm thinking of you, Pippa, okay? Excuse me, I've just thrown that down the side here. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to go 1, 2. See, I'm turning my hips. We're going to hit the pads. We're going to hit the pads like that. Pads, 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 pads. Okay, let me just check to see the microphone's still working. Yes, it is. Good. Okay, so we've done the pads. Okay, now we're going to do it with our fists. So start gently with your fists, because your wrists are not going to be strong enough and it's going to wear your knuckles out. I love to see this, but you don't want to do it too much. Your knuckles might get a bit bloody if you do too many of them. So with the adults I like to see it, with the older kids I like to see it, because it means that their knuckles are getting stronger and they're going serious. But start off nice and light, just a light touch. a light touch, and then gradually more power, the person holding, just holding nice and strong, get your fingers in nice and deep and kind of grip the pad, more power, just make sure you're not hurting your wrists, okay? Let's say just do 20, okay? Build up your power towards the end. By the end you're going to be going full power, okay? And when you go full power, be sure to turn your hips in as well, okay? Okay, so that's one way to build up power. If you're going to hit to the body, not really much point doing a light snappy punch. You know, I mean, if you're hitting in the groin, that would be one thing, but if you're hitting in the tummy, you're really going for a liver shot, or you're trying to win somebody, you're trying to break a rib. They're all shots really that need a lot of power, probably better suited to a hook, but you can do a straight punch down into the body here. So if you're going for a body shot, you want to go powerfully, okay? If you're going for the head, you've got a choice. Also, remember, if you're going for the body, your head's going to be open because your guard is down, okay? Right, okay, so that's a way to work on your power. Now let's work on accuracy. So accuracy is obviously very, very important. For those of you who borrowed these pads, you'll see there's a spot in the middle. If you don't have a pad, just grab a piece of paper, draw a circle in the middle. I don't know if you can see that. Circle in the middle. Get somebody to hold it for you, and you're just going to aim to hit that spot, or the spot in the middle of the pad, with your first two knuckles, okay? So remember, if we're learning to punch, it's these two knuckles, not these two or all four. If you're wearing boxing gloves, it's very different. If you're doing Chinese martial arts, it's different. They can tell you why they do that, but we're not about that. We're going to be hitting with our front two knuckles, okay? So you're going to aim for that spot. Start off nice and slow. You can use your straight instead, and try and hit the spot, and nice snap back then. Okay, and see if you can hit the spot 10 times without having to go too slow. So you don't want to be going, look how accurate I am, Sensei. Oh look, I can get it every time. Well, it'd be hard to miss going that slow, wouldn't it? So let's build up our speed so that we're accurate in a fighting, in a realistic fighting speed as well. Obviously, accurate is very, very important, because you might only get one chance to hit somebody, and you want it to be the target that's going to do the most damage. Now obviously if you're in a boxing match, that's different, where you're both trying to hit each other lots of times, but even there accuracy is very, very important. So I want you to stop and think, if you were punching somebody right now, what would be some good targets to hit? What directions would you hit those targets from with a straight punch, okay? So just think about that for a second, pause the video, and write down five places that you might hit. Okay, so here's some possible targets. Corner of the jaw, middle of the nose, bridge of the nose, break the nose. If you break the nose, they're going to cry even if they don't mean to. If they're crying, they can't see you so easily. Corner of the jaw, perfect for a knockout. Temple, that's a very serious one, but if you manage to get an angle, and you know, if somebody was really trying to hurt you, or a stranger or something, temple's a good one. At a push, you could do the throat, probably not with a punch, but a throat's quite a good one. If their head's up, you could kind of hit that in some direction. Solar plexus, if you're on the floor, groin of course, okay? I know it sounds like a silly one, in the leg, dead leg, okay? If you're in a headlock, hard punch to a dead leg. I know in martial art called Goju, they even talk about the top of the head. There's a pressure point here where your skull meets, and it's called the bregma in Goju, the fontanelle for mums and dads. That's the point, when you're born, your skull is made up of different plates, and they all come together, the bony plates, and then they fuse together, and that point on top of your head where they fuse is the fontanelle. And if you hit that really hard, to say with the palm heel, that actually can come apart. It can be quite serious, okay? But I wouldn't really recommend it because it's very bony. So we could do the eye socket. That's a really good one. You wouldn't want to be doing any of this stuff at school, guys, because it's really serious. But you know, front of the ribs here, really good one. If you break a rib, people can't breathe and then they can't carry on fighting. I don't know if I've missed any, but you can think about it. Oh, solar plexus, of course. Solar plexus, very hard to put muscle on your solar plexus, so it's a good vulnerable target. So accuracy, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to have a little game to practice our accuracy. What we're going to do, we're going to get a piece of A4 paper, piece of paper like this now, and you're going to tear a hole in it like this. And then you're going to get your mum or your brother or your dad to hold it like that, away from the body. You don't want to knock your mum out, okay? Otherwise you won't have any dinner tonight. So you're going to hold it like that. And then you're just going to try and punch through the hole. So here's how you make it. You take your piece of paper, you fold it over once in half. Then you fold it again in half. So here's the corner on the inside. See the middle bit here? And then you're just going to tear a little circle. And then when you open it, ta-da, there's a hole, okay? And you're going to try and punch through that hole like that, okay? And you're going to get faster and faster until you mess up and tear the paper, and then you try again. This is a old recycled paper, so I don't mind using this. You might not want to use too much of it if you've got any indoors, but maybe your mum or dad's got some in the office, okay? And you're just going to start off with your jab. That'll be easier, and it'll check if your fist is doing that at the end, and it'll check if it's coming back in a nice straight line, okay? And I think, guys, we're going to leave it there because we've done about 45 minutes today. I'll tell you what we'll do, we'll just finish off with some combinations, okay? So we'll start off, these are Sensei Martin's combinations, so we'll start off with a double jab. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, do them with me, guys. 1, 2, keep your elbows down. 1, 2. Now, for those people who really want to be well balanced, you could change legs here. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So that's a jab or a double jab, okay? And then back now. For you more experienced people, I think you're better to be really good at this leg that you're comfortable with. Okay, the camera stopped there. So for you, yeah, I think you're better off to be really good with your favourite leg back than you are to be okay at 2, because obviously the more time you spend training here, the less time you're training at your really good side. And one of my instructors once said it's better to be world class at one thing than jack of all trades at 10. So if you're in a fight and you've got one amazingly good punch and you can land it, that'll do you more good than 50 weird and wonderful things that you can't land. So double jab again. 1, 2, 1, 2. Think of a target, visualise somebody in front of you, same height as you, so where's their head here? 1, 2, so I just hit him in the nose there. 1, 2, okay, now let's go for the jaw. 1, 2, now let's go for the temple, change the angle. 1, 2, now right in the middle of the nose again. 1, 2, okay, now we'll move on, we'll do 1, 2 that way, okay? So we'll go 1, 2, now we're going to go head, ribs, okay? 1, 2, pull their guard up with the first punch. 1, 2, hit them in the ribs with the second. So they're standing here ready to fight. They protect themselves. Bang, you hit them in the ribs. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Throw the punch close to their leading hand so they're forced to protect with it. Okay, you don't want to go so wide they can use their backhand. Okay, here we go. I think the memory card's getting full. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. I'm going to leave it there, guys. We'll come back in a few days and we'll carry on with something else, okay? You take care, hope you're all safe. Oh, sorry, one more little game you can play before I finish. So, mums and dads, if you've got a beanbag, this one's great. This is going to train your speed. If you don't have a beanbag, that's fine. You can just use a piece of paper, scrunched up piece of paper. Okay, so mums and dads, you might remember this game was called Rat in a Tube. Remember? You used to have a piece of rat in a drain pipe. You used to have a piece of drain pipe, you drop the rat in the top, furry rat, and then you have to hit it with a stick when it comes out. Really hard because you can't see how fast it's travelling. With this one, we're going to make it a bit easier. The person's here, so I'm going to stand sideways so they're not going to punch me. I'm going to hold this, they're going to hold out their fist, and you're going to go about halfway down their forearm away. Then you're going to start off nice and high, and you're going to punch it, okay? So I'm going to drop the piece of paper or the beanbag. You're going to punch it before it hits the floor, okay? If somebody had punched that would have scared the life out of me. That would have been a ghost in my house. Fortunately, there's no such thing. So here we go. So you're going to punch it, so just let go. If you're having trouble with it, get your mum or your dad or your brother to count for you, and then they let go. So we go 1, 2, 3. So it gives you a bit of warning. But here's a tip, right? This is about your punching speed, but it's also about your hand-eye coordination. That means you see something and you can make your hand get to that thing when you need it to get there. Obviously, there's no point having fantastic punches if you always punch off to the side, or you've got no timing, or you're really slow. So what we're going to do, we're going to go hands and eyes. We're going to go look at the thing that you want to hit, punch in a straight line, don't cheat, and then just throw a snap punch out here, okay? And see if you can hit that beanbag, let's say 5 times out of 10. 5 times out of 10 drops. Just keep on practicing until you're that good. Okay guys, that's me done for today. Hope you're having a great time. Missing you all. I'll see you soon.